A judge told elected officials to follow the law. They plan to appeal. As Coloradans get charged for state parks passes when we register our vehicles, does that mean the families with more than one car are getting charged twice? A sheriff's candidate defends her ties to a group whose founder is calling for mass hangings. And a nurse's eye-catching tribute to the work done in healthcare over the last 2 years. We'll see it next. The Douglas County School District mess is looking more and more expensive for taxpayers there. First, a $250,000 payout to a fired superintendent, a lawsuit over secret board meetings, and today, a board member revealed that the district's insurance company isn't going to cover the cost of fighting a judge's ruling that the school board must follow the law. The conservative board majority still wants to appeal the judge's ruling. There's currently an injunction against the Dougco school boards. Judge told them this week they had to stop doing public business in private. Judge said evidence suggests that the conservative board majority decided privately that they're going to fire that man, Superintendent Corey Wise, before they came out and did it at a public meeting where public comment was not allowed. Members of the board minority said today at a meeting that they should just take the loss in court and agree that they're going to follow the law from here on out. The board majority wants to fight the judge's decision, which could be expensive.
We are going to go and appeal a decision that says follow the law. It's pretty hard to make an argument. We would actually, the argument would look like we would actually like to have the ability to make decisions that are not in a public forum. Spending tax dollars to fight this is absurd.
Today's hastily called school board meeting got even more confusing when the district's lawyer discovered midway through the meeting that they didn't have to rush it, that they've got additional days to decide what to do. So they called the meeting quits, and they'll pick it up on March 22nd. A lawsuit questioning the integrity of Colorado's elections went to court today, where the Democratic Secretary of State's trying to get it tossed. Some Republican elected officials want access to election servers to see if the state's updates deleted important information. Politics guy Marshall Zellinger explains.
Two Republican county clerks want to see the zeros and ones inside their election servers. Elbert County Clerk Dallas Schroeder and Douglas County Clerk Merlin Klotz are suing Colorado's Secretary of State to get access to their voting machine servers.
What we're asking the court to do is allow us to get an image of the system as it exists today.
Schroeder recently admitted to making his own copies of his voting machine servers before the software update known as a trusted build. Now he and Klotz want a copy of the servers after the trusted build.
Let's see if the update erased records. That's all we want to know.
That's not what today's court hearing was about. The attorneys representing the Colorado Secretary of State's office are trying to get the lawsuit tossed, saying the Republican clerks and commissioners who are suing do not have the standing to bring the case in front of a judge.
This is a policy disagreement. Certain county officials disagree with what the state agency has done.
The Secretary of State's office approved emergency rules last year limiting who can access voting machine servers. Those rules were in response to Republican Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters, who is accused of allowing a non-employee access to Mesa County's election computers.
What happened in Mesa is the county clerk and recorder, Tina Peters, hired a consultant to image the system before the trusted build was done, and then image it again after the trusted build.
Peters faces multiple felony charges over her actions in accessing her election equipment. The judge said it will be more than a week before he decides if this case can continue.
Politics has no place in this courtroom, and we will look at it from a legal standpoint.
I have previously reported that Clerk Dallas Schroeder had done a hand count of his 2020 election in Elbert County, as well as running the ballots through a competing computer software, Clear Vote, which competes with Dominion, and found that the Dominion election count was accurate. I tried to ask him outside of court why he still thinks something's funny when he put out a release saying we've done these checks and it was fine. He said he did not want to answer any questions.
So all of this searching is in in looking for evidence that the election was rigged. And so far, nobody's been able to turn it up, whether they have broken into these machines and systems or whether they haven't. Probably the most famous case in the country is now the Tina Peters case in Mesa County, where she got in there and investigators say she broke the law to do it.
And now they're trying to cite what she discovered in sharing that server image with outsiders. I heard in court the argument like, we need to be able to do that now to compare before and after. I'm not a legal expert, but using that as an example, someone who is facing felony charges for perhaps doing it inappropriately may not be the best argument in front of a judge saying, let us do it, but we'll do it appropriately.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I mean, I think everybody wants the same thing, which is that we want our election systems to be secure. So you want the processes that we have to be audited as they are, and you also don't want people getting in there and doing monkey business on them.
And we say this all the time. Risk-limiting audits are the audits of one race in every county, and so far, since it's been done since 2016, they have shown nothing nefarious. All of them have audited, all of those risk-limiting audits have proven that the results of that race, at least in those counties, were accurate. If somebody wants to try to create a new policy for how that works, that doesn't need to go through a court. That could go through the Secretary of State's office or through the state legislature.
Marshall, thank you. Douglas County Commissioner and Republican candidate for Sheriff Laura Thomas is defending her association with the group FEC United after its founder called for the mass hanging of political opponents.
The pledge that I signed was that I would honor my conservative principles and that if I did not, I would expect the people to hold me accountable for those principles. And that is what I signed. I have never been at any meeting where I have asked to end anyone's life.
I asked Commissioner Thomas today if she'd ever been at any FEC United event where somebody else called for killings. She said no. She said that the FEC United pledge was a standard statement of conservative principles. I asked her if she was comfortable with the group's affiliated militia operating in Douglas County while she is commissioner, or if she's elected sheriff in November. Commissioner Thomas declined to directly answer. Boulder County says that a talk radio host lawsuit is slowing down the Marshall fire cleanup and is causing extra financial and emotional stress for fire survivors. The debris removal process was supposed to start on Monday. That was delayed by appeals from the cleanup companies that didn't win the contract and by a lawsuit filed by a group backed by conservative talk radio host and former FEMA administrator Michael Brown. His group claims the county didn't follow the correct procedure to select a contractor for the debris removal and that the process was not transparent. They want the whole thing restarted. Meanwhile, the 1,000 families who lost homes in Superior and Louisville are waiting. Boulder County filed its response to the lawsuit this week, saying it complied with all the requirements. The county says that Brown, who doesn't live in Boulder County, has failed to show that his group even has standing for this. So the county is asking a judge to rule in their favor right now so the cleanup can begin. So each year, 500 kids go to summer camp in northern Colorado through financial assistance from the community, so they can go to the camps of the YMCA of northern Colorado. Well, this year, that nonprofit wants to add to that effort by funding camp for an additional 250 kids whose homes were lost in the Marshall Fire. Now, they know that some families in that situation will not need financial assistance and they won't get it, but others will need it. So that's where we come in. Your Word of Thanks campaign has raised more than $20,000 in 2 days. If you scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491, you can join me and a bunch of other Coloradans in helping those kids get to camp this summer. These families' lives have been filled with so much chaos and stress ever since the fire in December. This is a chance for us to give hundreds of kids something to look forward to this summer. Starting next year, we'll be automatically charged for a state park pass when we renew with the DMV. You send in smart questions about whether households with more than one car get charged again. We head inside on a cold winter's day to warm up with our favorite Friday tradition, Your Good News.
I think we can find opportunities that come out of the darkness and the obstacles.
And a Nurses Project highlights the hard work of public health over the last 2 years.
Tonight's next question comes to us from Margie. Since Coloradans will be automatically charged for a state park pass with our vehicle registrations next year, Margie wanted to know if multi-car households will be charged more than once.
That is a very good question, Margie. So if anybody's not familiar, starting next year, 2023, anyone who registers a personal vehicle at the DMV will automatically be charged an extra $29, and you'll get an annual state parks pass. It's less than half the normal price for an annual pass to all 43 parks, but you're going to get hit with the fee unless you opt out. It'll be automatically charged to anybody who registers their vehicle starting next year. Money will go toward park maintenance, search and rescue, avalanche awareness, wildlife conservation, and education programs. Now, to Margie's specific question about if your family registers more than one vehicle, do you get hit with a bunch of park pass fees? CPW says each vehicle has to be registered separately for its own pass. So it depends on which vehicle you're taking to the parks. $29 per vehicle. Again, you can opt out if you want, but you have to pick which vehicles you want to opt in or out. Send us your questions, big or small. Record a video or audio message asking the question and email to next@9news.com. We'll work to get an answer for you and anybody else who might be wondering the same thing.
An easier evening drive with clear skies, light winds, and it wasn't nearly as cold. We got above freezing today. We're headed into the 50s and 60s for the weekend. Next chance for rain and snow not till the middle of next week. Our high at 33 is 20 degrees colder than average, but we're headed into the 50s tomorrow thanks to building high pressure. Our storm is long gone, and we have just a few high clouds coming in and maybe a brief snow shower in the northern mountains. But lower elevations will stay dry with the warming trend continuing through at least Tuesday. So tomorrow, temperatures in the mid-50s, seasonal high temperatures. We do get you into Sunday with a high of 61, mid-50s Monday, close to 70 Tuesday with rain coming in Wednesday. Luck of the Irish on St. Patrick's Day. If you love snow, little snow in the forecast with Thursday's high at 46 degrees.
Congratulations, it's Friday. You know our tradition around here for years worth of Fridays is that we will take time to set aside some headlines and allow your good news to take center stage. We headed to the Botanic Gardens to escape this week's cold and to ask people our favorite question.
On our coldest day, we're like, let's do the warm things inside.
We're in the Denver Botanic Gardens and we came here because it's relaxing. My name's Megan. I'm from northern Minnesota and I'm here on vacation to go from the snow to the warmer snow.
My name is Celia Peliquin. I'm here from Iowa and, yep, on a winter vacation. My good news, I got to explore somewhere new.
My good news, I got a new job and I start on Monday.
So there's a shingle plant that's growing up on the center. It's kind of like a tree, concrete thing. And mine at home is maybe a foot big and my leaves are like the size of a nickel or so, and the ones here are the size of my hand. I'm Jennifer Potter. I'm at the Denver Botanical Gardens. My good news is that the Botanical Garden is super beautiful and I got to see all of my plants thriving in a way that they'll never thrive at my house.
Yesterday and the day before we did our hiking, so it's a good indoor day.
I created this out of 271 Moderna vaccine vials.
A nurse's tribute to healthcare workers grabs the attention of art museums across America. And there will be no naked golf at City Park. There wouldn't be a sign if somebody hadn't tried it. That's next. Colorado's steep decline in our COVID positivity rate has leveled off in recent days. We're still, though, at a low point that we haven't seen since post-4th of July when it really started to take off. 3% of COVID-19 tests done in the state over the last 7 days have come back positive. Last time we were under 3% was July 11th. Vaccines were the light at the end of the tunnel during the 2 years of the COVID pandemic. A nurse from Boulder County gathered up used vaccine vials and turned them into a chandelier art piece. It's a tribute to her fellow healthcare workers and all they did
to get us to this endemic stage of the virus.
It's been very dark and very challenging, and yet I think we can find opportunities that come out of the darkness and the obstacles. It's like decorating a Christmas tree. My name is Laura England Weiss, and I am a public health nurse. I've helped with the vaccination effort, Boulder County Health. This is what I call the light of appreciation. There was a lot of darkness and a lot of sadness. I wanted to access the light somehow. I created this out of 271 Moderna vaccine vials. I decided to make this because I really did want to show appreciation for my fellow nurses. I think they like it a lot. You know, they don't get enough pats on the back, and so if I can even just be a part of saying thank you, you know, that feels pretty good. I got to see my grandchild for the first time after getting my vaccine, so back to normal. But, you know, I think we're recognizing now, too, more than ever before, life is very uncertain and we don't know what's next. Well, I'm glad you like it.
Oh, you did. It's wonderful.
So we all have that in common, and I like to think that we can all kind of come together and at least recognize that we're not all that different. We all want the same things.
We appreciate Laura sharing her work through the lens of our photojournalist Foster Gaines. The chandelier will be at the Loveland Museum through April. Laura says that she's been approached by some prominent museums that would like to display her piece after that. She said she'd really prefer to find a permanent home for it somewhere here in Colorado. It's a sign that your birthday suit is not appropriate golf attire. That and a mess load of questions about park pass fees. Next. It's a sign tonight that some duffers have been doffing their pants. Ann was golfing at City Park Golf Course last week when she saw the posted course regulations. Ann's a rule follower, so she read through them for us, and that's where she discovered number 3 there. Clothing must be worn at all times on the golf course. Now, note, it does not specify what kind of clothing. It simply just says clothing. That indicates that the problem they're trying to solve is a lack of clothing. Anyway, send us signs that make you look twice. Email photos to next@9news.com or tweet at us using the hashtag HeyNext. If you see somebody at the Denver Golf Course violating rule number 3, you send us a photo of that too. Lots of questions about the way that the state next year is going to start charging people for a state parks pass automatically when you renew at the DMV. Had a question from a viewer asking if this covers our 4 national parks. Negatory. It is only for our dozens of state parks. Had a question about whether people who get a senior discount on state parks passes need to pay this. I don't know that for certain, but they're discounting the park pass from $84 if you were to go out and buy one to $29 because they're hitting you with it automatically. Brad says state opt-outs are deceptive. Make it an opt-in and nobody would object. Well, yeah, Brad, but then they wouldn't be able to get as much money from people who aren't going to use the pass. We'll see you next time.